And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition, another season of the GSL, the 2025 GSL Season 1 Renovate Group A. We are back. We are here. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to the final week of GSL. Now, of course, as a heads up, this is a replay cast. These events did happen last week. They did happen last week live. Now we are here this week to catch up on the Renovate and on the finals as well. What I mean by that is that this season, GSL was a little bit different. It was a much more shorter and compact season. Definitely there's a lot of criticism to be had there, but a big reason for that is just because of EWC. EWC was announced a little bit late, so because of that, everything is just jam-packed into a very condensed schedule, not just GSL, but Dallas, Home Story Cup, Stars Agora, like all these events are all just crammed into one condensed like two-month period essentially. And not just GSL Season 1, but GSL Season 2 as well. So this season GSL was only 12 players. Only 12 players. We just wrapped up 2 groups in Group Stage 1, and now we're here to wrap up 2 groups in Group Stage 2, and that leads into the top 4 in the playoff bracket. So only a top 4 player bracket, not top 8, and we're going to be covering everything this week. On top of that, after we finish covering GSL for the next 2 days, we then have the GSL qualifiers for Season 2 already. Like, there's just no room to breathe. Basically, there were a couple of days after the finals of GSL Season 1 where they had a couple of days break, and then bam, qualifiers. And I believe no one got seeded in either. Like, everyone had to re-qualify, everyone had to play through the qualifiers, and that was played a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago, over the weekend. So over the weekend that those games were played out, so that was 2 days ago at this point, and we'll be covering those replays of the GSL qualifier, I believe, in a couple of days, once we wrap up Season 1. So as soon as Season 1 is done, bam, Season 2 will be jumping right on in, and this time we'll do a better job at jumping into Season 2 coverage. I think for Season 1 it was a week later. A week later we will be covering the matches. I think next week or next Season 2 we'll do our best to make it like maybe a couple days later instead, and prioritize it a little bit more. Prioritize those matches. But here we go. Up first, we do have our group exclamation. Well, we shouldn't have a bracket command in the chat, but switching our scenes over. Let's catch up on the group itself. Let's catch up on the matches. Here we go. We have the Renovate. The Renovate's Group A. Of course, last week we did cover the round of 12. We have 2 groups, Group A and Group B, 2 groups of 4 players each. We have ByuN, Rogue, herO, and Cure. Now, if you recall, there was an interview coming into this where Rogue did emphasize that he was feeling very confident about his ZVT. Very confident against both Cure and against both ByuN. He was very confident in that matchup. He did mention that he wanted to avoid, or he was more concerned about herO more than anything coming into this group, and ideally did want to avoid him, but he was feeling pretty good coming into this just because of his historic matches against both ByuN and Cure. But we'll see how he does fare. Likewise, herO, of course, there's a lot of arguments, or I say a lot of argument. Both Yaku and I were kind of looking step coming into the season that herO is the best player in South Korea, just because we already spoke about it last week. But Maru has been very inactive. Maru, he did take a very long break after or during the off season. He wasn't really playing a lot of StarCraft. That was reflected in his games as well. Now he's getting back into the swing of things, of course, coming into this season of EWC, but he is yet to be fully tested. Based on what we saw from Maru in the qualifiers and in Group Stage 1, there were a lot of all-ins, a lot of aggressive builds, but not much more than that. So it's still difficult to gauge, but I'm excited to see how he performs in his group. That's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow in Group B. But now we're jumping into Group A. We're jumping into our first match. We're jumping into our ZVT between ByuN and Rogue. Let's go. Let us go. As Game 1 is going to be on Tokamak. Also, as we jump into Game 1, a big shout out to Paul the Dutch in the chat. Thank you so much for the subscription for 2 months. For 2 months in a row. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it, as always. Papi, as always, thank you so much. Thank you. It's thanks to the support that we get that we're able to cast as much as we do, and also host our events as often as we do as well. Thank you so much. As we jump into our first match of the broadcast. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the other South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is ro8. Go. As we are going to be setting up and settling in. From here, we do have initial openers here. When it comes to Rogue's style in ZVT, I want to say, typically, generally, Rogue, he does go for longer macro games. His goal in ZVT is to survive the early to mid game, is to weather the storm and get into his lunkers. That's where he can really thrive. That's usually how he approaches things, but welcome to GSL. This is a more preparation style format, especially for the group stage, less so for the playoffs. We'll get into that in a couple of days. But for the group stage, it is about preparation-based content, as in you do know ahead of time who you're up against. So coming into this, because of that, Rogue actually was hyper aggressive. He was hyper aggressive against Trigger last week, and he was very much so in the face of his opponents, and we might see him adjust as a result. It's hard to say. I'm always excited to see if our players come in with anything prepared, with anything ready for their opponent in GSL, or just standard play. Good. From here, we do have our initial Hatch Gas Pool opener out of Rogue. Likewise, Rax expands out of ByuN. Everything's looking normal, everything's looking standard. SCV Scouts, Reaper Scouts is going to be coming in. Likewise, welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the more larger standard macro maps in the map pool, one of the more defensive maps as well. So if you did want to go the distance, this would be one for it, as it can be a little bit more difficult to be hyper aggressive and hyper assertive from the side of the Terran on this map. We'll see. As ByuN does poke in, poke in, third base is maintained towards the left hand side. Rogue just happily expanding, happily mining. It's going to be on Rogue to keep up with the Reaper. Reaper does get one link kill so far, but just the one Zergling. As Rogue does maintain himself. Behind this, we have a third TC before Star Put. So economic build here by ByuN. Does go for an economic opener. Into add-on swap into what should be Hellion Banshee. We'll see if he does go for the Tech Lab into add-on swap, or if he does go for, say, a Viking first and go for faster stim. We spoke about a lot about how Rogue likes to prefer things, but likewise, ByuN is also typically very aggressive, very bio-heavy, going for a drop play, going for his early pushes. He's also one to ARAX from time to time, true. Is one to embrace that. As there's that add-on swap into Banshee. Oh, faking out Cloak, okay. So not going to invest as hard. There we go, does cancel Cloak, or does cancel the perceived Cloak. Trying to fake out his opponent. Hoping to force an overreaction, overinvestment. So from here we are settling in. Likewise, it's going to be on Rogue to actually establish a kind of foothold here out on the map and spread creep out in towards the center. It's going to be on ByuN to maintain control of the creep and to make sure that doesn't happen. Until then, early tech. There we go. Double Lever Chamber before the lair. So very greedy here from Rogue. Basically, he's going to be delaying his lair and delaying a bailing speed in favor of 1-1 upgrades. So this is greedy, and if he were up against, say, I don't know, like an earlier Hellbat push or an earlier timing, then he would be in a bit of trouble. But as we can see, it's just standard play. Third TC is being taken, so Rogue, he should be safe to do this. He should be safe to cut corners. As ByuN is still looking for a way in. Let's pick forward. behind this 3-1-1 setup. Stim is on the way. Banshees move out towards the left-hand side. And from here, we should be seeing our lair. Yep, there we go. Lair is now on the way for Rogue. Soon to be Baneliness into Baneling Speed into Ling Bane. Nothing crazy. Again, there's not too much deviation here in the early to mid game for ZVT. We're about to get into said mid game, and Banshee is now going to be poking in. Helly's looking for Ro8 as well. As Helly's are active, Lings, they do slip by. When they do hit the mineral line, SCV is going to be going down. Banshees are deflected by the Queens, and Helly's a race back home. So far, 3 SCV kills, nothing major, but it's nice damage nonetheless. So 2 drones go down to the Banshees, 3 SCVs go down to Ling Rumbai. Hellions, they should have deterred this. And ByuN, he does find the Lings. Does find them. Lings, they race back home. And does push in towards the right hand side, denying some of the creep. For the most part, Rogue here is finding a foothold here. Creep is looking decent. It's not looking bad. Likewise, Rogue is taking up. And now, if you recall, at the start of the game, we spoke about how Rogue, his ideal and his go-to style here is very safe, very defensive, going into, eventually, Hydra's Lurkers and Hydra Lurker Tech. Lurker Tech specifically on Hive. And we'll see if he can get there. Already taking that direction. If it's stage bit, that's going to be for the Hive. Hydra, and that's going to be for Lurker Den. ByuN moves out. He's got his first tank. And he can threaten. Likewise, remember, Baneling Speed is late, because we already have 2-2 on the way. So Rogue has to be patient. He's catching reinforcements, or at least trying to. Hellions have arrived. They deterred the Lings. ByuN doesn't keep pushing though. And Rogue, it looks like Baneling Speed will finish. Still, what, 10 seconds away. ByuN reinforces. He is committing. Behind this, going up to 8 racks is... Okay, we spoke at the start of the game how ByuN, he is 1 to 8 racks, and there it is. 3 base all in. So ByuN, it's all or nothing for ByuN. Is committing at the same time. Rogue going for a counterattack. I mean, again, because of the creep, it takes a long time for ByuN to actually push forward. So Rogue has time. And there we go. The SCVs, they're going to be trapped. Baneling's chasing down some of the reinforcements. Baneling's, they should not connect. So ByuN, oh, I say that. A couple of them do connect. Lings, they clean up the middle line. 17, 18 SCVs. And on the one hand, yes, ByuN, he was going all in anyway, but he did need that mineral line to support the all in. So ByuN is in trouble. Hydras are arriving. Boys being pulled away. Again, this space doesn't really matter. So workers are pulled away. Lings, he wants a tank, but there's so many reinforcements. Ooh. Rogue getting caught out. Has to get the hell out of here. Does have to pull away. There's Rogue forcing some friendly fire. But where are those Banelings? And there we go. Morphing and Morling Bane behind this. Collapsing on the army. And he has enough. Yeah, Rogue, he has enough. He does collapse in. Cleans out the bio. Takes down the first tank. There's 1 tank left. Ooh, but ByuN pushing towards the left hand side. He needs this mineral line. Yeah, ByuN, he can't pull this off. Rogue out of position. Doesn't have much Ling Bane. Can he deal with all these Marines? Oh, the splits aren't there. Yeah, the splits are lackluster. Rogue, he's holding on just barely. Jesus. I say that. He's being pulled apart. Queen goes down. Losing one of these bases is not the biggest of deals. He does save the drones, does save the mineral line for the most part. Hatchery goes down. ByuN does resaturate. It's still very close, very intense. As a Rogue, now he has less space to defend. He's on 4, but this hatchery is so incredibly low. And you can see him making the Lunkers. That is his win condition. Lurkers will end the game, but he needs a little bit more time. And there's the stim. He wants it. Oh, nice Lurker. Denies the lurker, trades against Hydras. Hydras are going down. These are expensive losses here for Rogue. Ling run by at the same time, but Rogue, he's being broken. He's being broken. Looks like ByuN barely has enough. The lurkers have arrived. Are they going to be enough though? They're out of range. Oof, and that is a death. That is a kill in the 4th. Mineral line as well. At the same time, Ling Rambai does get 17 SCVs. That was 17 drones going down. Lurkers have to pull away. Flush transfuse. Gets one. Takes out one lurker. And ByuN, he is down when it comes to... He's getting a 4 CC. I wouldn't be opposed to him just lifting and landing a base, but sure. But I think ByuN has done it. ByuN, I mean, killing the 4th base, that's almost game then and there. As a Rogue is now even on bases. Rogue has a higher drone count, but Rogue is oversaturated, so he's not really mining efficiently. And the Rambites were impressive from Rogue, but he wasn't able to save his base. GG gets called, he was pulled apart, and ByuN will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does take the game. ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, Rogue, initially I was very fond of the Ling run-bys and Ling counterattacks. And again, as I was mentioning, him losing a base was fine. But the problem was that ByuN wasn't just killing one, he was killing both at the same time, right? He was able to go for a split push, able to strike the 4th and the 5th expansion. The creep was lacking on the left-hand side, so that's why it caught Rogue so off guard. He had nothing to scout, he had nothing in position, he had no vision. And with that, he was just torn apart left and right. Could not defend both locations at once and lost both. Lost both in the end. GG. But very intense game. Very close back and forth there between ByuN and Rogue. And I mean, I can see a world where Rogue could have survived that, could defend against that. It was close. You could also argue that the second Ling run by was also very lackluster. Like, that was also the moments where ByuN gained a foothold. Because Rogue had gone across the map with his Ling Bane, it meant that he didn't have enough at home to defend, and this time the second run by wasn't as worth it for Rogue. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Leylines, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg. Representing Team Falcons, it is Rogue. Here we go. Oh, so do calm down as we do settle in. Again, ByuN taking a lead in the series. Now, I don't expect ByuN to A-Rax 2 games in a row. So far this season of GSL, the group stage was full of all-ins. I think we spoke about this last week, how I think we got like one macro game. I think, and even then, when I say macro, we got one like mid to late game, and that's all we got between Group A and Group B. So we've seen a lot of aggression, we've seen a lot of all-ins, and I'm hoping that we're able to embrace the back and forth mid to late game here. But at the same time, I know that ByuN is quite fond of 8-Raxes. Doing it twice in a row, though, I would imagine that wouldn't happen. We'll see. Likewise, Rogue, if he does feel under threat, then he may opt to go for a Roach base opener, which are safer. It's a safer way to play, and it's a bit of a slower style. It means that you are less active, you have less counterattack potential, but it can keep you safer against early pushes. We'll see. So now we do have our ranks into factory, back at home. It's also possible that Rogue may not be as greedy this time. Remember last game he went double Evo chamber first, so he was prioritizing upgrades. It meant that bathing speed was later, and it took a little bit more to break that initial push. So the base is on the way. If I'm not mistaken, did we skip the Reaper? Yes. Okay, so Marine first into add-ons. No Reaper, no SCV Scout. ByuN not concerned at all with what is going on across the map. Very greedy here by ByuN. So no Reaper Scouts, no SCV Scout, no nothing. Behind this, third TC before Starport. but he does move the racks very far back. Curious. Like, it's very far out of the way. We have a really interesting setup here. So I expect a more unique build, no add-on by the way. The build itself is very efficient and very suspicious. The CC is on the edge, so it's going to be easy to scout the command center, the third CC, but behind this, what are we going for? Are we going for a 2-1-1? Are we going for BCs? Hellions are going to be amassing initially here, but what is going to be done with the racks? So let's make a second Marine first. There we go. Tech Lab is on the way. Ooh, Scout is denied. And this looks like 362-1. That would make the most sense. The Lings, they did not see anything in the main base, and I was going to say 362-1. If you remember, I did mention BC, but this is going to be mech. Okay, ByuN meching it up here against Rogue. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, this is more unique, and this is very hidden as well. And as we mentioned, like, the initial opener was very suspicious when it came to preserving gas, when it came to skipping the Reapers, and when it came to this third CC. Like, what's suspicious about this, the Overlord pokes in, Overlord sees the CC and he backs off. Rogue, he feels like he's seen everything he needs to, when really he has not. Oh boy. So this is a very intentional, very specific, very practiced build here for ByuN. Okay. Very prepared, I should say. But again, the CC placement makes plenty of sense now. Double Tech Lab getting into Battle Mech. Armory's on the way. You know, if this armory was sooner, then we could have seen like a Thor drop setup, which would have been amazing. But for now, it is going to be Battle Mech. We have Mech Field Accelerators, Cyclones, Hellions. So ByuN is amassing. And for sure, this is the influence of other Terran players in Korea. When it comes to mech, like, we've seen it from players like Maru, sorry, not Maru, actually, no, yeah, we have seen it from Maru, from Gumiho, from Ryung, from Clem. But it's very rare to see this from ByuN. I don't expect this to be a build that he whips out often, by the way. But for something like a GSL group, then sure. Whip it out. Ah. As he's got 2 more factories on the way, getting to 5. What's terrifying here is that there's still no scouts. Overseer just now morphing in, and Rogue, he needs to get into the main. He still has no idea. Right now he's going into Link Bane. He's getting into Double Lever Chamber for 1-1 upgrades. Lair is done, but here comes the first push. Before the scouts. Ay, ay, ay. And what is it to defend? Slow Banelings and Queens. Yeah, lock-ons are brutal. Queen's going to be going down. We have 17 Lings on the way. Needs a little bit more time. Ooh, this Queen does overextend. Queen goes down. Lings still building up. There just aren't enough Lings here to engage. Is this just game? the Queens are pulling one after the other. Banelings waddling in. Oh, ooh, and they will connect. Yeah, ByuN does overextend for a moment. He bleeds out, what, 3 Hellions? But only the Hellions. The Cyclones are preserved. And he's getting on top of the Queens. He's getting on top of the Queens. Banelings are out. Oh, they crash in once again. They take down more Hellions. But the Cyclones persist. Blue Flame is done. More Hellions trickling in. Baiting speed and now finishing up. Oh, catching out more Hellions. And every Hellion goes down. Finally, a couple of Cyclones as well. Not just one. No shot. Just the one, Papi. There's a scan. He wants the Queens. He gets one. He gets both. Takes out every single Queen here. How many? 10? 10 Queens went down for 1 Cyclone. Spore is denied. And ByuN's done it. At this point, ByuN, he has done it. He has traded well enough. Lings, they will be able to clean up some of these Cyclones for sure. Banelings, they take down a 2nd Cyclone. And potentially a 3rd. Not quite. Is that 2 Cyclones? Yeah, 2. that's how efficient ByuN has been, by the way. 2 Cyclones. Only 2 Cyclones have fallen. The efficiency is crazy alongside 4, 11 Queens, 74 Lings, 10 Baylings, and the base, and the game. As ro8, he has no standing army. Again, this was a very crisp timing. As a reminder, ro8 had no idea what was happening. Now he has roaches, but these roaches are so delayed. Just because he was taking his scouting for granted. I don't blame him, as again, ByuN, he's not known for this style. From my understanding, he's never done this build before in a tournament. At least not in recent time, and there it is. GG gets called. ByuN, he will take the series 2-0, knocking ro8 down to the elimination match. GG. GG, well played. ByuN, he does pop off. Again, a very unique build here. Very intentional as well, going for skipping his Reaper, preserving his gas, skipping his SCV scout, throwing down the CC on the edge of his main to make it less likely that ro8 would go further in for a scout, and it worked. Like ro8, he never went into the main. He saw the CC. That's all he cared about. That's all he cared about. And even with the Overseer, he didn't commit into the main base either. So no scouting. The first time that ro8 saw the Hellion Cyclone when it was knocking down his 4th base. Like, that's when he realized what was happening, and by then it was too late. By then, that was game. That was game then and there. GG, well played. ByuN does claim the series, does knock ro8 down, but not out, as we're still in the first round of the group. There's still plenty more matches to come and plenty more series to jump into. As up next, we do have our next set of players. Again, 4 players in total in this group. We have ByuN and ro8, but we also have herO and Kior. Let's go. So jumping into our next series, into our best of 3. And again, Kior, he's been having a bit of a hard time in TVP. Like, for a very, very long time, I would have said that Kior, he has some of the best TVP in the world, 100%. But if you remember, we did cover the May Mayhem, and Kior, he had a really hard time there. He went down 0-2 to herO, Max, and Showtime. And he also went down to Clem's Protoss as well. He took 1 map off of Clem's Protoss, but that was a brutal tournament. That was a brutal group stage, and yeah, Kior, he was definitely struggling there. But of course, up next we have a GSL match. I'm sure Kior, he was training, practicing, and getting ready intentionally, specifically for herO, and we'll see what he brings to the table. Let's go. Jumping into Tokamak for game 1. We'll see if he can get his revenge from the May Mayhem. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the blue Terran player, with blue Terran himself, the South Korean Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Kior. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. We go. So we are going to be settling in. Again, herO has been on fire as of late over the past, off-season of StarCraft. Kior likewise has been very active as well, very active during the set off-season, leading into our new season of GSL. Again, in recent times, he was having a bit of a harder time in TVP, but I'm excited to see what he has prepared for herO, for the GSL. I mean, hey, we saw a crazy mech Cyclone build out of ByuN last game, which again, we've never seen from him before. So, what I'm getting, I'm ready for the factory. I'm ready for the mech. Gumiho whispering sweet nothings into Kior's ear. Like, you can do it, Pappy. Just make more Cyclones. Okay. I mean, it does work from time to time. I should emphasize that as well, that part of the reason why it works so well for ByuN was it was hidden for so long. And also on top of that, it's his reputation, right? Like, ByuN is not known for mech, he's not known for switching to mass Cyclone like that. So there's a lot of mind games that come into play there. Defying expectations. There we do have initial move outs. So far, standard opener, just gate expand or gate cyber expand from herO. Likewise, did have our double gas opener, so I should have pointed that out. Double gas opener by herO, going for a faster factory, delayed CC on the high ground. And from here, that is a very early tech lab. Oh my god. Okay, so that is a tech lab before any factory units. You don't get faster than this. From here, we can go to early cyclone, early tank. What do you have for us? As herO is being hyper aggressive. Reaver shuts down the probe. There it is, cyclones on the way. Now this is gonna be cyclone into a second cyclone or cyclone into a tank. But again, this is very aggressive here from herO. Should be going into a medevac, into an early drop. And herO, for the time being, is unaware, as he wasn't able to get into the main for the initial scout. Doesn't know whether or not it was double gas. It is going to be reactor marine production. Is aware of that. Knocks down the depot. Okay, supply box cure. Uh-oh, and he gets a full scout. He sees everything. He sees the tech lab. He knows. He's aware. Here comes the medevac. First cyclone has arrived. Behind this, do we get a second cyclone? Do we get a tank? Curious, trying to hunt down the initial units. Oh, add-on swap. Okay, so cyclone into add-on swap instead. From here we can go into Banshee play. Adept is found. Yep, Cloak Banshee. So cyclone jump into Cloak Banshee. The aggression persists, continues here for herO. Back at home, we do see herO playing safe. We can see a safety shield battery. Again, because he saw the early tech lab, he knows that something's coming his way. So he's setting up back at home. 3 gates. So 3 gates set up at Robo here, all on 2 bases. Delayed third base for herO. And herO does find one Stalker, does get the lock on. And the Stalker is going to go down. Massive pickoff already. Takes out one of the Stalkers. Heads into the mineral line. Gets 1 probe. But just the one. Marines left behind. And doesn't get... Oh, barely gets 2 probes. And herO does get some damage. He also scares herO into delaying his third base. And behind this, we're not done. Here comes the tank production. So tanks are amassing. Banshees are moving out. Now, because herO is playing safe, he already has a robo, which means he already has access to detection. Doesn't have an observer yet, but he can always make one and chrono one out. Likewise, remember, no Twilight Council. Oh, sorry, there is a Twilight Council. Blink is done. My apologies. Blink is done. Cyclone did make it back home in time. Tank is in position. Banshee's moving in. Oh, here he gets pinned against the wall, bleeds out 1 Stalker. Oh, 2 Stalkers even, bit of miscontrol. 2 Stalkers go down. Banshees, they still have yet to pull the trigger. We have 1 Banshee on either side of the map. 3rd Banshee on the way. herO, he does have 1 Observer, it's moving out as well. herO dropping into the main. herO, he does get into the mineral line. Yes, Visa being 1-shot. 3, 4, 5 SCV kills so far, getting up to 6, getting to 7. Banshee moves in. Banshees are moving in. Observer is not quite in position. The Observer is across the map. Ay, ay, ay. Probes are going down. And there's a recall. He has to recall back home. And he will deal with this. Oh, he's up the first Banshee. Recall was spent. herO, he sneaks up on the 3rd base. Remember, he had the early tanks. And herO is pulling herO apart. He wants a cancellation. He wants to deny the 3rd. herO, he missed the drop. He missed the bush. There's a cancel. And hero's hurting. herO, he's in a lot of trouble here. Prism getting called out. 3rd base is denied. And herO's got 2 tanks. He wants the Immortal. And not bad. Does get some free damage. Tanks getting within range of the Cyber Core. And hero's just being bullied here by Cure. As the first Colossus does arrive. Oh god, the target firing. Colossus goes down. Gets one swipe if that's. Ay. Colossus does fall. The tank count also going to get reset. Here, he's barely holding on. He's down to 4 Stalkers. Prism did survive. Ooh, doesn't save the Stalker. Yeah, 1 second too late. Saves 1. And here, sure, he's holding on, but he's on 2 bases. He's stuck on 2 bases from here. Cure, he can keep going. Cure, he can get a 3rd CC. He gets 11, 12 probe kills in the main. The one Banshee with 17 kills. 18. Banshee finally goes down, and here is just being crippled. He's just been pulled apart here. Again, just hyper aggression out of Cure, and here could not keep up. Initially, he was keeping up with the Banshees, but it was all distraction for the main tank push. And now Hero's all in. Here at this point, he's all in. Charge is done. He does have his Immortal. Going for the Dark Shrine. I mean, again, Hero is getting desperate. Dark Shrine is on the way. Does cancel Extendable Lance. Does get that refund. Warping in as much as he can. But breaking this position is not going to be easy. There's just so much. There we go. Boys are being pulled. Hopping up there on the tanks. It does drop them back on the high ground. Immortal goes to the tanks as well. Gets 1. Takes down 1. Takes down both tanks just barely. 15 SCV kills. But Cure holds. And Cure's still in a better position. Cure, he does drop down to 39 workers, but he does have a 3rd CC on the way. And now, good. And he does even up the worker count. Takes down 3, 4, 5 more probes. Secures to me in. Oh, no, not again. Not again. Yeah, GG gets called just before the Colossus goes down, and Cure, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Just hyper aggression out of Cure here. Borderline 2-base all in basically from Cure, opening up with his double gas into a faster tech lab, faster starport, into early Cyclone, into Banshee play, just fully pulling Hero apart. Very aggressive there by Cure, and with that, GG, Cure takes the lead. Again, here he was playing blind for the most part. He had to just react to what was coming his way, and in the end he was torn apart by the aggression of Cure. And we'll see if Hero can recover. We'll see if Hero attempts to prioritize scouting a little bit more, playing safer, or turning the tables and being the aggressor instead. Let's go. So getting into game 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. Go. And again, here he just had a very hard time scouting and getting a read on what Cure was up to. As a result, much earlier scout. Here he sends a probe across the map immediately this time. As he will slip into the main. Second SCV does get pulled down. Third SCV, jeez. Already forcing a reaction. Does check the main. Scouts the initial gas. Does scout the initial gas geyser. And does scout a much more economic opener. So just 1 gas. Just 1 gas here. Here he's fully aware. Now he's in position to block the expansion. And this makes more sense. Again, we're loading into Maganatha. Maganatha is the largest map of the map pool. So Cure, after a very aggressive game 1, single gas, racks, expand, economic, slower start in game 2. So there it is. Here he confirms, of course, is an economic opener. Oh, I say that. Marine into Tech Lab. Okay. Now, because of the economic opener, herO, he's going to be tempted to go Adept first. Yep, there we go. Speaking of, Adept is on the way, and he's going to be tempted to go across the map and try to delay and try to punish the economy. Cure, with the counter, is going into Tech Lab into early Concussive Shell Marauders. The goal here is to catch the Adept, is to catch the first couple of gateway units and try to punish herO for being too aggressive. So this is predicated on the idea that herO's going to move out with the Adept and move out with the Stalkers. And here he's known for being aggressive, so Cure, because he knows he just got scouted, he's expecting aggression from herO. So really nice response out of Cure. If herO was more passive, if he was more defensive, then this wouldn't really be worth it. This would be less effective for Cure. He is aware of hero's tendencies. Adept does scouts, does spots, and has to get the hell out of here, force a recall, and will recall in time. Whew, saves the Adept, and with that secure, this was not as worth it. Again, here he was so quick to respond, he saves the first unit, and now he's setting up. He pulls back the Stalker, and Cure, he read hero's response well, but wasn't able to punish. You could argue, oh, just force wasted energy on a recall, I suppose, but I would say still better for herO. Shield batteries on the way. hero's getting ready for the counterattack. Cure's moving in. And here he's ready. He's ready. Behind this we have our 3-1-1 setup. That is going to be a Rax before starports. Uh-oh. Okay, I mean, Cure, again, he was hyper-aggressive last game. This looks like the beginning of an all-in. We'll see how delayed the starport is going to be, but basically, we're delaying the starport, we're delaying Medivacs in favor of early Stim. In favor of Sim, the Reactor and the Marines, just more bioproduction here. Just a heavy commitment into nothing but units, nothing but army. And hallucination confirms. Yeah, big scout here from herO. He does see the lack of starport. Behind this herO getting a third Nexus. I believe 2 gate? No, 3. So 3 gate blink into a third Nexus, no gases, no robo. This is a more economic start, which is fine. Remember, this does hit a little bit later, but herO has to be ready for the move out, ready for the sim timing. Honestly, I feel like going into Forge and Charge from here would be ideal. It would be risky to go into Colossus. But we'll see how herO responds. So here we go. Here he moves out to meet the army, and this does scream 2-base all-in, by the way. Safety turret, just in case it's DT. I mean, DTs would be a good way to punish an all-in, for sure. So Cure is getting ready for DT response, and there we go, the boys are being pulled, so it's just straight up 2-base all-in here from Cure, as we did mention. herO comes in from behind, he does backstab. And herO, does he have a recall? He does, yeah. Recall is available. Catches a tank. Oh my god, tank goes down. Delaying reinforcements. At the same time, back up. Yep, there's the recall. Does recall in time. Nice force field, slowing down the push. Tanks are a little bit too far back, but they're within range of the army. Oof. Does blink away, but tanks not within range of the Nexus. And again, every second counts. Every second helps herO. See here, just biding his time, playing it slow. There we go, there's the Unsiege. Ooh, and just as he unsieges, dives on the army, gets a first tank. There's one tank left. The boys are pulled. And remember, Cure's all in. We can afford to lose some workers. Here he trades well. There's barely any bio army left. Does kite back. And herO holds. herO holds here, he shuts this down. And remember, Cure, he has 29 SCVs back at him. He barely has an economy. There's just not much left. Takes down the final tank. Curie's racing back home. He's down to what? He's down to 3 Marauders, down to 8 Marines. And this time herO knew. What I'm referring to, if you remember game 1, herO, he skipped his sentry. So herO, he had no hallucination scout. herO had no idea what was happening game 1. Here coming into game 2, herO, he was all over Cure, making sure he was just fully aware of the build, of the follow-up. Here he scouted the initial CC first. He also scouted the 2-base all-in follow-up as well. So he had a brutal response. And he's here to end it. He's here to break the natural. Another tank. Tank rallies in, and GG gets called. herO ties up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. GG. Whew. Here we go. As we are getting into the ace. Cure's playing weird. Where's the Adepts? If you recall, the Adepts did recall back home. I think Cure's early game was, I mean, it all made sense. It all kind of like pieced together here. When it came to the all-in, unfortunately got scouted. If you remember, here he saw the three rack setup before the starport, so he was fully aware what was happening. Really saw backstab there by herO as well. He was able to punish. Likewise, he was holding onto a recall to recall back home in time. And when it came to the defense back at home, what was clutch there were the force fields. Remember, the force fields, they did zone away the army, and they forced the tanks to siege up out of range of the Nexus, right? Out of range, just a little bit too far back. On top of that, we spoke about the map itself. We spoke about Maganatha, how because this map is the largest map in the map pool, it does hinder all-ins. It means that all-ins are even harder to pull off. Not impossible, but even harder on Maganatha. I think the idea there, I would imagine, especially with opening up Racks Expand as we get into game 3, but opening up Racks Expand, I would imagine the idea is that he was maybe hoping that herO would be a little bit more lax when it came to scouting and would assume something more economic. But as we saw, he saw everything. herO saw everything with that GG. GG, well played, and now we are stepping into game number 3, the ace match, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. Just sack the third and save the probes. No, you can afford to lose workers there. Remember, Cure, he pulled the boys. So Cure was all in. So you can afford to pull your own to defend, to survive, to maintain the third base because you're still ahead. You still take lead. Meanwhile, early probe scout out of herO. herO does scout the double gas. Is aware of what's going on. Is aware of the more aggressive build this time from Cure. Very similar to game 1. This time delayed CC. But unlike game 1, herO scouts. Remember, in game 1, Cure, he was able to fully wall off. He was able to deny any kind of scouting, so herO was playing blind. Not this time. Here we go. What is the worst map in the pool? Why is it Lost Fantasy? The worst map in the pool is Torches. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, no. What I will say is the most vetoed maps in the map pool, in my mind, are a tie between Torches and Lost Fantasy. Just because we equally don't see those two maps barely at all. I say that we did actually cast both Lost Fantasy and Torches over the weekend, but those were in best of 5s. In best of 5s, we see them. In best of 3s, it's rare. It's very rare to see Lost Fantasy and Torches. But it's always why it's appreciated whenever we do get to experience them in those like longer series. Always do appreciate it. In my mind, the biggest reason why Lost Fantasy is an issue is how defensive it is. On Lost Fantasy, it's very easy to turtle and to macro up and to force a longer later game. I would say Lost Fantasy is probably the most defensive map in the map pool, more than any other. Like, even like take Maganatha for example. Maganatha is a large map, but there are so many attack pods on Maganatha, and the bases are very isolated and spread out as well. So it is more difficult to defend on a 4 base and 5 base setup on Maganatha than it would be on Lost Fantasy. Meanwhile, Torches is just like rush map. Torches is the smallest map in the map pool, hyper aggressive. But right now, both Lost Fantasy and Torches are the most viewed maps. Torches, for those who don't know, is the rush map. It's a very short. It's like El Dorado, but like half the size. Like very short rush distance by air and by ground. Also, there are the center goal bases, and the low ground base is very exposed. So very often players are avoiding those two maps, as they are the two, I would say, most extremes: Lost Fantasy and Torches. But here we go. Once again, winding it back, it was a double gas opener into an early tank. In game 1, it was early cyclone, but this we're going for an early tank into an early tank push. Here we go. Cure, he is committing. Now, herO, he is somewhat aware what's going on. Behind this did go 2-gate blink, though. Greedy build out of herO. 2-gate blink into a third. I would say that Cure, he has a high chance of breaking through. We'll see if he can. Does siege. And he's going for the third. He wants a third base. And again, here he did open up quite greedily here. He now has a third gate on the way, shield batteries as well, but the base is going to be denied. Massive pick off. That's all the Cure need. He denies a third, he backs off. Behind this is going into Banshee play. And so far, a successful attack from Cure. As long as he gets away. Here he's hunting down that tank. Uh-oh. Here trying to hunt him down. Does spot the army. Second tank has arrived. Here, oh, threatening a dive. Tanks do siege. Here he has to respect it. And again, here trying to catch reinforcements. Cure moving out. Both armies, they pass by each other. Uh-oh, and there's nothing here. There's nothing at home. Remember, there's no cloak on the Banshees. We're going for the base trade. SCV is going to be going down. Cure, he commits across the map, going for the natural. Here gets 7 SCVs, has yet to recall. Trying to buy time. He holds a line here at the shield battery. Shield battery goes down. Here, there's the recall. No shield battery. Likewise, though, this army is smaller than what it should be. Reinforcements are back at home. And he goes to the blink, goes to the dive, takes down 1, takes down 2. Yeah, both tanks go down, and herO, he holds. Whew. Here he holds on. Again, he crippled the economy of Cure. And Cure, he will lose everything here. Again, ideally, Cure, these reinforcements would have bolstered the army, and then Cure could have broken the natural, but he was forced to keep this back home because of the counterattack. So that Stalker counterattack, it allowed herO to win that fight. It didn't mean that Cure was stuck at home. And Cure, he only fought with half his army. And now he only has half left. Uh-oh. The bunker's still on the way. herO, he can avoid the natural and go straight into the main. He wants it though. He wants the tank. And he gets it. Tank goes down. Bunker does complete, but herO, he can rotate. There is a tank on the high ground. Is that tank? herO, he has to play it careful. Bleeds out a Stalker. Denies the add-ons. Gets one. And gets both tech labs. Very nice. herO pulls away. Does pull away. And unfortunately, this time Cure has no cloak. There's no cloak here for Cure, so he can't quite go in. Is being deterred, is being denied, and Cure's in a rough position. Unfortunately, Cure, he was basically hyper committed on 2 bases, like borderline all in, and for him to bleed out those tanks earlier, for him to bleed out the add-ons as well, he's being delayed. It's being delayed, he's being denied. herO can now re-expand. Yes, on the one hand, herO did lose the 3rd base at the start of the game, which was brutal. And it would have been even worse if he didn't catch the army, but he did. He already cleaned up the army, now he can re-expand. Kira working in his own third TC. Here with a stronger economic setup. And unfortunately, this game, the Banshees, they didn't pay for themselves. The Banshees, we're down to 2. Oh, Banshee slips into the main. And we'll get some workers. And again, this is very necessary damage for Cure. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 probes. Not bad. 7. Oh my god. 7 probe kills. Not a bad trade here for the Banshee. Meanwhile, with the Storm Jump, oh my god. Storm Jump does equalize 7 SCVs. Here, calm down. Goes to the Storm, going for the Archon follow-up. Again, no Colossus this time, going into Storm instead. Now trying to force some friendly fire, but the tank thankfully does unsiege. Oof. To 11 SCVs. Hero building up his army. Now going for the Bay, now going for Colossus. From here, Hero can get a 4th base, can expand. Here he has map control. He spots the 3rd. Hero's moving in. And Hero does have enough to break this 3rd base. How many storms? 2. 2 High Templar. 2 High Templar. Gonna be at least 2 storms. I say that, actually a 3rd High Templar arrives. Observer gets quartz. Decent setup here from Cure, but the numbers just aren't there. Again, he just let out so much in the process. Storm on the fire. Oh my god, punishing the whole position. Does punish. Miss rally out a hero. Bleeds out an immortal. Okay, Cure he's holding. He's holding on. Here behind this, expanding, getting a 4th base. Again, here he doesn't have to break this position. He doesn't have to go in. He can just calm down. Oh no! Can't just calm down. Picks off the Widow Mines. Shaving off some units. As he expands. There's only 1 tank left. Here he has another High Templar. He has another Storm. What does he go for? He does go for the Bio. Yeah, Brutal Storm of the Marines. Another Storm as well. And that may just be enough. There are 4 Archons going for the warp in. And GG gets called. Here he breaks the 3rd base. And Hero will take the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Here he does claim the series. Again, Cure, he had a really strong start, lining it back. Like Cure, he was able to move out, able to sneak up on the 3rd base. Remember, even though Hero scouted double gas, Hero, he went 2-gate blink into a 3rd base. Very greedy build there by Hero. He was punished for it. Hero, he was punished. He lost the 3rd. But what did he do after that? He counterattacked. He counterattacked. Remember, initially he was hunting the main army, and he wasn't able to. His goal was to try to catch the first tank and medevac before reinforcements joined up, but he failed to do so. So Cure, he has some really nice movement. He reinforced his army, and then he chose one of 2 things: either come back home or keep pushing. And Cure, he kept pushing, and then we had a weird base trade. We had a weird base trade where Hero was able to counterattack and get into the natural. He got 7 SCVs, and more importantly, he also contained the reinforcements. He meant that he made sure that Cure, he was stuck at home with his reinforcements, and then he recalled. He recalled in time to defend, and Cure got picked apart. He got picked apart. Ideally, if Hero was more passive with his army, then Cure could have been able to reinforce, and most likely Cure wins. Like Cure, he probably wins that game. Like he would have 100% had enough to have broken that natural because of how greedy Hero was. But that Stalker counterattack did ensure that Cure was safe. Did ensure that he was safe. GG, well played. With that, Hero does claim the series and does advance on into the winners match. Let's go. Let us go. But again, a very intense back and forth there to go to the ace match, and let's catch up on the group itself, on the matches. Here we go. Initially, ByuN takes down Ro8 2-0, advancing onto the winners match. Here likewise takes down Cure, and now we have our matches ready for us. It's going to be ByuN versus Hero in the winners match. It's going to be Rogue versus Cure in the elimination match to determine the first players out of the group, out into the semis and out of GSL. Oh boy. So 3 best of 3s remaining. catching up. Go. As for now, we're going to be going on a short break. We're halfway through. We're kind of just under halfway through the broadcast, but some fast matches, to be honest. We mentioned this previously, how we had a lot of all-ins and a lot of aggressive builds last week in the round of 12, and here in the round of 8, it's all going to be the same. Where we haven't gotten into any kind of like 3 or 4 base setup yet. That just hasn't happened in our series so far. We'll see if we can get there. We'll see at some point. I'm sure we will when it comes to Rogue versus Cure. I can see that going the distance. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have ByuN versus herO for the winners match. See you soon. See you soon after the break. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. We'll be back soon with our next series. welcome back everyone, welcome back to the GSL 2025 GSL Season 1 Round of 8 Group A, the group stage here. We have our top 8 players and we're here to determine the first player to make it through into the semi-finals. Let's go. We have wrapped up our first 2 matches. Now we're here with the winners match with herO and ByuN. Game 1 is going to be on ley lines. Let's go. We do have our first game. Jumping right on in. Are we gonna get any mid-game, Pappy? I doubt it. But here we go. Spawning in the bottom corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds. It is herO. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Go. As our PVTs do continue again, here he had a very intense, very clutch series against Cure. Again, a lot of aggression from both players in their own way. Cure, for the most part, going for more aggressive builds, and herO able to counteract that, able to punish that, and able to, yeah, I think punish is probably the best word against Cure. Meanwhile, ByuN moving out with the eBay block. Let's go. SCV does move out. This is something that we did not see at all out of Cure, but ByuN is very fond of it in his own TVP matchup. Going to be hiding that SCV and moving in to delay the expansion and disrupt the opener of herO. eBay moves in. And herO, he does spot this. Ooh, nice scout by herO. He does spot this barely ahead of time. And with that herO, he can pull the boys. He will pull the boys. He will delay. He will disrupt this eBay and expand. So again, ideally this could have been so much worse, but unfortunately for ByuN, I think he went in 1 second too early. So here he was able to scout that eBay with the first probe, just barely did scout it. Upon doing so, he can then pull the boys, he can force a cancel, and herO can expand. Ideally, if this didn't get scouted, then ByuN would have almost completed the eBay, would have pulled out, would have pulled away, and because it would have been so much HP, so much health on the eBay, because it had so much progression on it, then herO would be forced to expand elsewhere. He would be forced to expand at the third base location instead, and then ByuN can punish that and be assertive and be aggressive, go into Hellions and go for run-bys. But here he does maintain his low ground. Likewise, behind this, ByuN getting into his own CC on the high ground, single gas opener. And we are settling in. We settle again. We have our tech of choice here. Twilight Council out of herO. Opening up Twilight Council. Likewise, reactor marine production here by ByuN. No add-on swap into reactor Hellion or reactor Widowmine. herO does have control of the low ground, and he will lose the probe. Not bad. ByuN picks up the worker, pulls away, and gets across the map. Takes a lot of hits in the process, but should barely get away. Does slip by. Meanwhile, how many gateways for herO? So far, I believe that is the second gateway. Yeah, second gate's on the way. So far, getting to 2-gate blink. And we'll see if herO expands from here or gets extra gateways. Meanwhile, ByuN going for his bio mine drop. And this is a very different change of pace. Again, Cure went for non-stop all-ins. He went for non-stop all-ins last game or last series. As Cure, he was hyper aggressive and hyper committed. Here, ByuN going for a standard opener. Like, bearing in mind, Cure at no point in his series did he ever open up Widowmine drop. Like, this is just a very standard way to open up. This does provide the Terran player scouting information to get a read on what's happening, on what their opponent's up to, on what's going on. My drop moves out. ByuN setting up back at home. It's going to be more delayed tank production. I say delayed. Delayed compared to what Cure was going for. ByuN is making his way into the main. ByuN does boost in, heads into the main, Stalker's in position, and the Widowmine's A shouldn't get much done here. herO does pull away. Oh! Nice retargeting. The blink though. Yeah, blinks out of the range. Oh, takes down the medevac, takes down the Widowmine, and with that, ByuN doesn't get anything. He kills 0 units. As the mine shot was baited out, medevac fell. ByuN, he at least scouted the tech, he at least saw a gateway, but didn't see much else at the natural. And with that, herO gains map control. Moving out, it is going to be 3-gate blink into a 3rd base. Prism is on the way. Yeah, the gas was taken at the natural, so here he can be more assertive. He can be more aggressive. He will still expand, but he has the way. I mean, he has the means to reinforce. Okay, what do we have? Tank in the natural, tank in the main. Sim is on the way. Raven harasser towards the natural base. Here he does get eyes on the army. And does come into the shade. Here pulls away some marines. Heads towards the natural. Does not get the tank. ByuN is ready. ByuN even pre-pulled the boys. Oh, has to be careful though. Does go back to mining. herO perks in, but again the tanks are secure and ByuN holds. ByuN, he does hold on. These Stalkers that haven't gotten much. And remember here, he delayed his own 3rd base in favor of warping in extra Stalkers. So here he needs to find some damage. Observer gets caught. ByuN is keeping up. He's keeping up. Here he gets behind the mineral line. Gets an SCV. Right now, there's so much pressure on herO to contain and to get whatever damage he can. SCVs, depots, marines. Just because of how late the 3rd base is for herO. And he's achieving some damage. Oh, he wants it. He wants the tank. Blinks in. ByuN pulls away at the wrong moment. ByuN is punished. Tank goes down. Nice pick off here by herO. He does trade out to 3 Stalkers. Still a better fight. But ByuN breaks out. And this should have been with 3 tanks. But now down to 2. Does move out across the map again. It's going to be here to slow this down. Behind this, Warping and Zealous charge is halfway done. And Colossal production also on the way. Oh. Let's get his Colossus. Here he still needs more time. He's not ready. As ByuN breaks out. Takes away their Stalkers. Takes down more of them. Tanks about to siege. And a brutal missile goes off on the Zealots. On the Stalkers. So far the first Colossus has arrived. Here he has bought enough time. Just barely. And here he should be able to hold on. I say that Colossus. Where are we going? Yeah, ByuN, he sees the army, he sees what he's up against, and he doesn't like what he sees. He backs off, gets the hell out of here. Now that charge is done, now that the first Colossus has arrived, here he has more than enough. And you can see how momentum swings from one player to the other. Here he was in danger until he finishes upgrades, until the first Colossus arrives. And now herO gains map control. Behind this, ByuN expanding, getting his 3rd CC location. And the game progresses. And we got there. Again, this is the kind of game state that we did not have at all last series. Just because of the non-stop all-ins. But now, again, we have a slower start, a slower early game. Now getting to the mid-game, 4th base is on the way for herO. We're macroing up. From here, herO is working towards Disruptors. From here, ByuN is working towards Ghosts. Ghost Academy is done. Ghosts and Vikings are on the way. Again, we're building up into a longer game state. Right now, the pressure's on herO to maintain map control. You can see here he has pylons all over the place to make sure he keeps up with drop play. Getting his 4th base. Pylons towards the top side as well. Drop play is where ByuN can thrive. herO is aware of that. So herO just backing up. Yeah, serious. Supply the army with their reinforcements. Maybe that's okay. ByuN is in position, deflects the zealots, and here he has no intention of really breaking through here. The prison does slip into the main though, not bad. Gets an SCV. Just the one. ByuN, he defends well. Cleans up the drops. Zealots, they do hit the 3rd, but once again he gets caught out. Oh, brutal losses here for herO. Sitting at a lot of charge lots. One zealot gets in, gets a couple of SCVs. But remember, here he's just buying time for what? For disruptors. Yes, how many? 4. Soon to be 6. The Novas are coming out. We'll see if he can catch ByuN. First Nova does connect. Bleeds out a disruptor though. That was 1. 1 disruptor going down. Rotating over. Heading towards that southern base. herO trying to keep up. He's trying. Missile goes off. Decent connection. ByuN just has to avoid those Novas. Ooh, take us will lose a Ghost though. Ghost goes down. 1 Colossus does fall. There's still 1 left. And ByuN looks like he will barely break through. He's trying to break the expansion. He's turning back the army. Nexus will fall. A nice setup here from ByuN. Takes down the base. Takes down the Nexus. Here he avoids the army, catching reinforcements. Gets another Ghost. ByuN has to race back. He's trying to keep up. Here he's stolen 4 disruptors. He has to make them count. Trying to move in. Again, he grazes the army. Nothing major. And this is allowing herO to build up his 4th base. His 5th base even. As he bleeds out. Oh, another disruptor. Disruptor does pull away in time. Charge, I'll say, do dive in. Not the worst trade from herO. He does get almost every single Viking. Yeah, Viking kind of gets reset. He go back into Colossus. Oh my god, brutal connection. And herO, he does take the fight. Bearing in mind that ByuN is contained on 3 bases. And instead of a 4th CC, he's throwing down more Vaxes. Okay. More Vaxes on the way. Here he's on 4 bases. He saves bottom right. He's on 5. And because hero's being so aggressive, remember, this base should be dead. ByuN, he had knocked down the 4th base. He is aware of this base, not like it was unscouted. But because of hero's counterattack, ByuN, he had to respect it. He had to respect it. So ByuN, he had to leave and abandon this base. Also, my apologies. 4CC was done, so he does land. Does land the 4th base, building up his Raxes. Had no CC. And ByuN, he's down to how many Vikings? 1. Down to 1 Viking. So going back into Colossus production. Hero's maxed out. And ByuN's in trouble. Zero gets punished by the tanks. Looking for another way in. As ByuN is still only on 1 Viking. Oh, takes out the prism though. SCMP, Nova gonna be going off. Brutal connections, yeah, 2 do connect. Nice target firing out of ByuN, but it's not enough. Not good enough here. Colossus are breaking through. Nice EMP on the Stalkers. Once again, the Stalkers are so low. Oh my god. Stalkers they go down to the planetary. ByuN holds. ByuN, he barely holds on. Here he still takes a greater fight. Here still has a greater economy. Here can be the first to remax. And again, ByuN, he fought well there, but he's still behind economically. He still can't keep up macro-wise with herO. And he lost all the ghosts. He lost every ghost. It's a rebuild once again. herO, he's already on 4 Colossus. Jesus. And herO is overwhelming. Being cheeky. So with the disruptor. That's the only disruptor that herO has. Yeah, herO just gonna brute force it. Without any goes, without any EMPs. Yeah, he should be fine. Does dive in. There's 3 Vikings left. Colossus, they don't care. And here he overwhelms. Breaks through the main army. And again, ByuN was so committed earlier, and he did break the base, but that's all he got. All he achieved. Nexus goes down, Planetary goes down, GG gets called, and herO takes game number 1. Whew, GG. And again, a really strong decision there from herO to counterattack when he did. I'm referring to the moment when ByuN broke the 4th. Like ByuN, he was in control. He broke the 4th base, he was bullying the main army. ByuN, it was looking very strong, very in form, very in control of that game. And then herO, instead of engaging with the army, he counterattacked. ByuN saw the army moving out, and he had to respect it. He had to race back home, which means, I mean, he lost that momentum. He wasn't able to keep going, otherwise he could have killed more bases, more of the economy. But herO did save it by counterattacking. And with that, GG. GG, well played. herO, he does take a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Game 2 is going to be on Tokamak. And once herO forced ByuN back, then herO, he got into his own 5-base setup, was able to be the first to max out, and GG. Even though he did at times take some worse fights, he had the economy to sustain it. Like, he can afford to trade more inefficiently. And here we go. Getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Go. As herO does poke in. Does poke in. Likewise, ByuN, he does go for an economic opener once again. He does go for a single gas into a faster CC. Likewise, this time there is no eBay blocker across the map, so here he can expand freely. He can settle it. So there's that Nexus. Nexus is on the way. There's a command center on the high ground. herO does confirm. And we'll get out. So just another really big change of pace here. Like, very different TVPs that we're experiencing between ByuN and Cure. Where Cure was hyper aggressive and ByuN has been more, I don't know if I want to say passive. Later games, I should say. More of a fixation on economy. Building up into later game states. Factories on the way. And we'll see if herO does switch things up. Again, herO, he's willing to not just always go Twilight Council every game. He's willing to go into a Robo, willing to go Stargate. Mix up how many gateways he throws down. Willing to adjust. He's willing. Of course, I feel like last night was an example of that. If you missed out, I do recommend the VODs where we actually casted herO versus Clem in last night's Water TV Monday Grand Finals, the best of 5. And herO was looking insane in that best of 5. Meanwhile, Robo, we spoke about it, Robo opened out a herO. Very safe play out of our Protoss player. Interesting. So when it comes to our tech of choice, when it comes to builds and again tech choices for Protoss in this matchup, we have 3 options. We have the Robo, the Twilight Council, or the Stargate. Each one leads into a different style. Robo openers are typically considered to be very safe just because they allow you to get early Immortal production, early Observer production, and early Colossus as well. But here is being so assertive. Oh my god, it gets a Marine. Gets a Marine, and he might just go Prism first. If so, then he's just going to double down. Gets another Marine. He's opening Observer, never mind. So playing safe. Meanwhile, nice kind of here. The herO bleeds out 1 Stalker. Oof, bleeds out a 2nd Stalker as well. I mean, he trades and he still maintains control of the low ground. That's all he cares about. He controls the low ground. He controls the natural. ByuN cannot expand. And ByuN's being contained on 1 base. 3rd CC. Let's go. 1-1-1 into a 3rd CC. I mean, this is to recover. ByuN knows he's falling behind economically, so how do you recover? Double expand. Very greedy here from ByuN, but very necessary. It's either rush into a 3rd CC or go for a 2 base all in. And we now know the answer. Hellion goes down. Another Observer's on the way, so again, this is a safe build here from herO. Did go, actually, sorry, my apologies, Observer into Prism. So it can be active. Observer gets spotted. And herO, he did not see the 3rd CC. He's not aware of how greedy ByuN is being. If he was aware, he would move out with everything. He'd move out with the entire army. And he could probably kill ByuN. Just because he could leapfrog and head into the main and just bypass the low ground. But for now, herO just going for some harassment. Forge on the way, gases are being taken, Twilight Council. You can see here he's staying on 2 bases that much longer, getting up to full 2 base saturation first before expanding. He spots the command center, he delays. Oof. Just barely. Delays the CC, he can one-shot SCVs. Getting up to 4, getting up to 5. 5 SCV kills and a delay on the expansion. Here been looking good over the past 24-ish hours. Here been looking good for the past 6 months. Like, here he's been on the rise ever since the off season. So I want to say like last year November, last year October. Has been popping off. I say 6 months. We're already in May. Jesus. Coming up on 7 months. Oh god. It's like, I'll be honest, it feels like the year just started. I think part of it is because like this is still the first season of GSL and we haven't had like an offline event yet this year, right? Because of the off season, so the passage of time feels weird, but yeah, halfway through the year already. Crazy. But now though, we do back off. ByuN, again, because of the faster third CC, he has no aggressive potential here. He's been stuck at home the entire time until now. Now the medivacs have arrived, and now he can break out. He can be active with drop play as he claims his third. Meanwhile, herO, because he saw the third base, he knows how safe he is. So herO's been just focusing on his economy, building up his immortals, being safe, getting into Colossus production. Again, this is the kind of tech path that you go down when you open up Robo, is safety immortals into Colossus. It does mean that something like Blink is late. You can see Blink is very delayed compared to game 1. That's all because of the tech of choice, all because of the opener of herO. And because ByuN is being very greedy, because ByuN is focusing on his economy and getting a third Nexus or third CC, that means the herO is safe. Like he's not being punished for having any kind of later tech. He's catching up, getting a fourth base. herO's looking very confident. So I want to say this is maybe the most passive, the most passive game we've had so far in today's broadcast, but a lot of it is just because of the openers and the damage that herO dealt early on. Oh, Jesus, so we get five probes? Hey. 5 probes go down. But remember, it's only passive because herO killed so much at the start of the game with his early Stalker aggression. So there's a give and take. Maybe he's going to DreamHack. It's difficult because of GSL, right? Like, it's hard to say. I don't think we know exactly who's going, but it's a hard decision for the Koreans because GSL Season 1 wrapped up, and GSL Season 2, as I mentioned, the qualifiers for GSL Season 2 were 2 days ago, and the GSL season starts next week. So there's just, yeah, a lot going on. So it is hard to make that decision to travel. I know that Maru isn't going, right? Like Maru, he's not going to Dallas. Oh, actually, sorry. I should say Maru's not going to Star Zagora. I don't know if Maru is or isn't going to Dallas. That I'm not so certain of. I'm pretty sure Xian is. I think Xian is. I know RyeOng is. CranKy made a tweet recently, and I think he listed who's going, at least from the Team Vitality side. And I believe it is RyeOng and Xian. I believe. At least those two. He does Ro8. Likewise, Prism into the main. Steps on in. Not too many weapons available, unfortunately. Here he's supply blocked. Oh, God. Not the time you want to be supply blocked, as herO could not warp anything else in. Likewise, main army going to be forced back. Disruptors coming in. Tanks are in position. Never goes off. Oof. No major connection. ByuN holds. And he holds onto the third base. Behind this, herO double expanding, getting a fourth base, getting a fifth base as well. Going to be up 2 bases. This is a scary thing about being passive against a Protoss player at this level. In PvT, it's very common that if the Protoss player gains map control, they mass expand. They get up to 4, 5, 6 bases. They eclipse the economy of the Terran, and the Terran is contained. Like, momentum does shift drastically in favor of the Protoss. Meanwhile, ByuN coming in from behind and never goes off. Chasing back herO. herO pulling away in time. There are how many Vikings? 12. 12 Vikings, that should be enough. It's a hefty Viking count. Zelda coming from behind. He wants a tank. And he gets 1. He gets 1, he gets 2. Oh, God. Does he get all 3? Jesus, 3 tanks go down. Very nice run by it. Meanwhile, the Colossus are exposed. Never goes off. More disruptors amassing. herO getting a 6th expansion and a 7th, so double expanding. As we mentioned, like it's very common in TVP for the Protoss to mass expand. Likewise, Vikings being targeted down. Nice control there by herO. We had 12 Vikings, now down to 8. 8 Vikings left. herO forcing his way in. Ooh, takes out the Ghost. Decent EMP. There's a handful of Ghosts left. As reinforcements have arrived, Vikings, they go for the dive. They get 1 Colossus. Just the 1. We go from 8 Vikings down to 1. Oh, down to 0. Every Viking goes down. 0 Vikings left. We're making 4 Vikings at a time. They just now popped out. Vikings, they just arrived. Oh. So we're bringing more Zealots. And here, he's just overwhelming. Again, like here, he's on 7 bases. Yeah, takes out the planetary, overwhelms the main army, and ByuN just cannot keep up. Even if he kills every Colossus, there's just not enough on the ground. Not anymore. As herO does overwhelm again, you leave herO alone, and this is what happens. Like, Jesus. Up to 82 workers. Still maxed out, and GG gets called. herO, he will claim the series 2-0, being the first to make it out of the group stage into the semis. GG. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, he was forced to double expand, if you remember, at the start of the game because it was taking so many losses. He had to make a choice, either double expand or go for a 2-base all-in. He made his choice. He did choose to go for the expansion. He was delayed though. herO, he got a full scout. He was aware of how greedy ByuN was being, and herO, he kind of met that greed and even surpassed that greed as well by rushing into his 3rd base, rushing into his 4th base, rushing into 4-base saturation, and maintaining map control. And it can be quite oppressive from the Terran side to be up against that sort of style, to relinquish map control. That's also why we saw a lot of aggression at a Cure, and why we often see a lot more aggression in the mid game from the side of Terran, is to apply pressure to make sure that doesn't happen, to make sure that they're able to contain the Protoss and break the Protoss ahead of time. Otherwise, they can get out of hand. GG. GG, well played. With that, herO does claim the series, and now we're making our way into the elimination match. So herO, he's the first out. He's the first to make it through. If you're a fan of ByuN, don't worry, because ByuN is still in the group, but he is waiting for the winner of our next series. As up next is the elimination match, we have Cure up against Rogue in a ZVT. Let's go. Zerg versus Terran. Now, if you remember, Rogue had a really rough time against ByuN earlier, but ByuN had some crazy builds. Game 1 was quote-unquote standard. It was an all-in. Game 1, ByuN, he went for a 3-base all-in. He went for an 8 racks. Game 2, ByuN, he went for a hidden switch into battle mech, into a very strong Macfield accelerator timing with Hellion Cyclone, and Rogue had no idea. Rogue, he kind of took this scouting for granted. He saw the 3rd TC. Rogue did not see the factories, he did not see the production, he didn't know that he was getting mech'd, and by the time the Hellion Cyclone arrived, Rogue had nothing to defend. He was overwhelmed. GG. So it was a very short series between Rogue and ByuN, and we'll see if he can sink his teeth into Cure and have a more back and forth. We'll see. We'll see what Cure has in store for him. So getting into game 1. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. We go. Thanks for the insight. Oh yeah, we'll do what we can. But again, just because the GSL seasons are like back-to-back right next to each other, it does de-incentivize Koreans from traveling to Dallas. So, not saying there won't be any. As you mentioned, I believe Zaun and Ryung are at least going. But a lot of them, they have to pick and choose. Like, do they want to play in GSL? Do they want to go to Dallas? do have to pick and choose. Similar story with Stars Agora as well. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see the eventual finalized open bracket for Dallas, just because we have no idea who's going. We have very little idea. But regardless, we're settling in. Settling in, Hatchcat Spool, Standard Open out of Rogue. Likewise, Ranks Expand out of Cure. Calming down, we're building up. And welcome to Persephone. Persephone is one of the smaller maps in that pool, one of the more aggressive maps as well. Short rush distance by ground, a very direct path, and I'll be honest, 8 ranks are quite popular on Persephone, so we might see Cure commit into a 3-base all-in. We saw ByuN have success with that earlier, but now Rogue is warmed up. You know, now after facing that off against ByuN earlier, now I'm sure he is more prepared, more ready for what's to come. We mentioned earlier that Rogue, he thrives in the late game. Like Rogue, his bread and butter where he can really excel in ZVT is getting up to a 4-base economy and getting into lurker tech. If he can get into lurkers, he can slow the game down and he can take control, but only if he can get there. And we saw that ByuN's answer to that was just don't let him get there. Just kill him. just kill him on 3 bases. That was ByuN's answer, and it worked. It worked very nicely, it worked very well. We'll see how Cure responds to Rogue. We'll see if he is as aggressive as I'm sure Cure was watching. I'm sure he was watching those matches. They'll snipe a drone. Screw does poke in. Rogue, the base is going to be delayed, at least somewhat. Not bad. Delayed by a couple of seconds. Cure pulls away. Behind this, going for a 3cc into Starport. Economic setup here from Cure. Everything so far looking normal. And really our next kind of big sign, for me at least, is going to be whether or not Rogue does go double Evo Chamber first or Lair first. On a map like Persephone, because this map is known for aggression, I would hope we see Lair first into a Bailey Nest, not double Evo Chamber, but we'll see what Rogue goes for. Likewise, across the map, Cure is going for his add-on, his Tech Lab into add-on swap. Yep, there we go. Does go for the add-on swap into Cloak Banshee. So 3cc Cloak Banshee out of Cure, very standard. Rogue on the other side, still droning. And in the next 30 seconds, we'll find out if he goes for Evo Chambers or Lair. As Rogue is dipping in with the Overlord, Marines are here to deny the scouts. And they will deter the Overlord. Rogue is in the dark. He sees the reactor at factory, but oh, the Link Scout is denied as well. Rogue, he sees nothing. For all he knows, it could be a 1-1-1. As the 3rd base is now being taken. Rogue moving in with another Zergling. At least he tries to. Gets forced back. At this point, we're getting up to 5 minutes here. No Lair. He's making extra queens. Okay. Does make extra queens instead. He's being very safe. Now we get the Lair of 5 minutes, so it's going to be a delayed Lair in favor of an extra wave of queens. I want to say that this is because of the scouting, or because he was denied scouting. So very safe here from Rogue. And this does mean that he's going to have extra queens, that's true, but it also means that link speed is going to be delayed. Sorry, bailing speed, I meant to say. So later bailing speed. Likewise, later upgrades as well, later 1-1. So now we're getting to the Eva Chambers, into Baliness, into Ling Bane. Cure is being active. As one Banshee does overextend. Not a bad catch out of Rogue. And hey, the extra Queen's somewhat paying up. Slides the Banshee. 5th base on the way as Rogue double expands. So we are building up. Again, Rogue just kind of trying to stabilize here, getting to Lingbane, and you can see here the goal is to rush into Lurker Tech into Hive Tech. Hydrogen is already thrown down. There's an early Hydrogen into Infestation Pits. Again, this should be for a fast Hive into Lurkers. We spoke earlier that is a Rogue's win condition. We'll see if we can get there. Meanwhile, do you see what I see? Ooh, okay, one gas. One gas is taken. We do have a 3 racks follow-up behind this. It's going to be an 8 racks. We spoke earlier, ByuN, he did 8 racks Rogue to death in game 1 in his series, and Cure is doing the same. He's doing the same here. So 3 base all in out of Cure. Creep is receding. And you can see Rogue, as we mentioned, he's rushing into Lurkers. Now, if he can morph in a couple of Lurkers, he can end the all-in. Remember, it's pure Marine tank. Making 12 Marines at a time. Rogue, he does go for the counterattack. Back at home, do we have anything to defend? We do. Yeah, Cure is fine. Cure, he has the army. The base goes down. Massive pickup. Takes down the expansion. But remember, because Cure is all in, Rogue, he can't afford to lose this base. That's fine. He saves the drones. He takes bottom right instead. So Rogue, he's still on a 4-base economy. He's still okay. Lings, they run past. Ooh, they get a full surround. Yeah, Cure, he does move out of position. Bailey's they smash in. And Cure gets punished. SCV's going to be going down. And Cure is that much more committed. He has to go all the way. As he's losing everything. 23 SCV kills. But I say 23, losing even more than that. 25. Things are looking dire for Cure. Again, he has to keep pushing. Dropping into the main. Lurker Den is done. That's a lot of Bailings. And Bailings, they are smashing in. They rush past the Hellbats. They go for the Pyre. Marines, they stand the ground. No, not bad. Cure, he holds on to that position. Same time pulling back. 10 drone kills so far. There's still a lot of Bailings though. Oh. Cure pulls away. Does pull away. Cure just stands by. He wants the Queens and he's going to get them. We'll lose 1 tank in the process. Bailings rolling in, a bit of hesitation, and Curie's done it. Cure, he's done it. He breaks through the Bailings. He was forced all in. He lost so much back at home. He's on a 2-base economy, but he has enough. Yeah, he target fires the Bailings, and there's nothing left. Lings are going down. The Bailings go down. GG gets called, and Cure, the A-Rax, works once again, and he breaks Rogue. GG. GG, well played. Now, what I will say is that the A-Rax does hit harder on Persephone because the rush distance by ground is shorter, so he was able to commit. It was a really solid run by at herO to get across the map and to get into the mineral lines. He did cripple the economy much better than he did against ByuN. I will say that as well. So he did a great job with the Lingbane run by, did cripple the economy, but we didn't really have. But I would say that he teched up too hard. What I mean by that, when it comes to defending against an A-Rax, it is so imperative that you hammer down and you just get as much Lingbane as possible. We saw that Rogue was being greedy and was taking up into a Hive, into a Infestation Pit, into Hydras as well. These are 3 different tech structures and 3 different tech paths that are borderline a waste of resources in this kind of game state against this kind of all-in. where, as you saw, like, once there was no Link Bane, the Hydras did nothing. Like, the Hydras, they're more of a supportive unit. And likewise, the Lurker Den never came into play either. I did say that if Rogue could actually get into Lurkers, and he could, like, put a stop to the all-in and slow the game down, but he never quite got there. So in the end, it was kind of wasted resources. More Link Bane would have been more beneficial. I would say that Rogue was a little bit greedy there. Or at least he didn't get away with it, I should say. No Lankers, papi, no Lankers. Or no Link Bane. So GG, well played. Cure does overwhelm, and now we're getting into game number 2. And we'll see if Rogue can look to stabilize and actually embrace his Lurkers as we load into the largest map in the map pool. Let's go. We're loading into Maganatha, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Team Falcons, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Rogue. We go. Now, as we load into Maganatha, this map will favor Rogue here when it comes to forcing a longer game and getting into Lurkers. Last game, he was taking that direction, but he was killed before he could really embrace that Lurker tech. He had the Lurker Den, he had the Infestation bit, he had the Hydra Den, he was even investing into Hydra upgrades, but he was killed by an all-in. So he didn't quite get there in time. Meanwhile, ooh, 2x Reaper? 2x Reaper out of Cure. Bold move here. This kind of opener, it excels on some of these more smaller maps just because the rush distance by ground is shorter. Here it's going to be longer, so we'll see what Cure can get done. We'll see. Defying expectations. Meanwhile, gasless opener out of Rogue. He went for a 15-15. Yep, went for the extractor trick. And it's going to be 3 racks. Okay, 3 racks Mass Reaper out of Cure on Maganatha. Now, this is going to be an interesting dynamic. On the one hand, this might do crippling damage. Remember, gasless opener. Rogue is being greedy. Now, why is he being greedy? Maganatha, we spoke about it. This is the largest map. This is the largest map in the map pool. So we are cutting corners. We're playing gasless, and that means no link speed. Now, usually against 2x and 3x Reaper, the aggression subsides when link speed kicks in, because when you have link speed, then you have mass ling, and then you can surround, then you can force back the Reapers, and then you can expand and get into a longer game. But here, there is no timing for link speed. But what Rogue will have is queens. It means more queens faster. So he's going to have an earlier spawning pool, earlier queen production, and the queens, they can hold their own. So on the one hand, Rogue, he should be stable with his queens, but he will have no map presence without link speed. And Cure should kill the third. He should kill the third base once he sees it. For now, he pokes in, he rotates, sees the expansion, and he should force a cancel. That's the bare minimum damage that Cure is going to achieve here, is canceling the base. Gas now being taken. Cure, he wants more than just the base. He delays any kind of creep. Behind this, still making more Reapers. Now, bear this in mind, there's no null in. There's no null in. Cure is expanding, but this is committed. So Cure, because of this, he needs more than just the base. Like, again, killing this third base is the bare minimum that he's going to achieve. But ideally, he wants a queen. He wants some drone kills. That's why he abandons the third. He wants some more. Again, Cure knows he knows he needs a queen. Queen's taking low. Lings are trickling in. Likewise, if Rogue allows the space to finish, then this might just be a kill, not a cancel. Once again, Cure. Oh, gets a queen. He gets one. He gets one, and he wants another. He gets 2. Jesus, 2 queens go down. Takes down all the lings as well. Rogue is in trouble. Again, Cure, he does choose to just abandon, just leave the third base. Gets another queen. As that game? I mean, remember, there's no link speed. There's no link speed, so there's no speed links. Drones are going down left and right. Roach production still on the way, and with that Cure, he may have just done it. Drones, they attempt to surround. A little bit of a messy engagement here. One Reaper gets around, another Reaper goes down. Oh my god. Yeah, Cure overextending. Got surrounded. That was the best case scenario for Rogue. And Rogue, He saves the base. He does save the expansion. Again, Cure, those potentials to just end the game then and there. At last, he does get a lot of damage, but not quite enough. Behind this, bio production has begun, getting to stim. Roaches are amassing. And ro8, does save the expansion. It's low on HP, that's true, but we'll save it. I will say that Cure sniping 3 queens, 17 lings, and 7 drones is better than killing the base, so he's done well for himself. Ideally would have won the base as well. And ideally, Cure wouldn't have gotten surrounded. Like, that was a brutal moment for Cure. Ooh, as another roach falls. I do still favor Cure's position, and ro8, does he just commit to an all-in from here? He's droning. He's saturating his supply blocks. Oh god. Brutal supply block for ro8. Another Reaper goes down. Another 2 Reapers even. This is all nice trades for Cure. Picking off how many? Picking off 3 roaches. And here comes the stim timing, and this may just end the game. ro8 is droning. He has to. Like ro8's in a rough position here. He's re-droning, resaturating, taking more gases. ro8 is not ready for a push. Now, bearing in mind, this is going to be a stim. Sorry, this is with stim, but this is going to be without medevacs. Medevacs are still on the way. Here he does find an Overlord. I believe with a concave, I think ro8 does have enough to hold on. Yeah, there are enough roaches. There are enough roaches, he should be okay. Another Overlord 4, supply blocks ro8. Speaking of Overlords, he finds another. Does find another Overlord. And now it's go time. Now it's go time for Cure behind this third CC on location. In the end, I was curious if ro8 was going to be able to defend going gasless with Mass Queen, and he did survive at least, but still took crippling damage. And Cure is here to end the game. Sims up the rim, takes down the roaches. Ravagers have arrived, but only 2, and you can just avoid them. Yeah, you just avoid them, and Curie's gonna stim and win. And despite ro8's confidence in this matchup, he never got to lurkers. Not at all today, not against ByuN, and not against Cure. GG gets called, and Cure will take the series 2-0. ro8 is out of GSL. GG. Yo, ro8 got cheesed out here. Both against ByuN and against Cure. ro8 never got to the mid game. He never got up to 3 base saturation. It just never happened. Or I should say up to 4 base saturation. It never happened. He never got to achieve his goal of taking up into lurkers and making any kind of lurker tech. He was shut down in both series in all 4 games before he could get there. GG, well played. With that, so congratulations, Cure. He will advance on into the decider match to face off against ByuN in a TBT. GG, well played. Poor, I mean, right? He just wanted to play some StarCraft. ro8, he just wanted to play some StarCraft, and both against ByuN and against Cure, he was denied that time and time again. Again, ro8, he was so confident as well. If you remember in his interview, he was like, yeah, I'm really confident. Like, I'm always winning against ByuN, always winning against Cure. But nah, they came prepared. They came prepared. Aye. I was most impressed by ByuN. Again, if you missed out on the first series of the night of the broadcast, I do recommend ByuN versus ro8, because that was a rare treat. If you missed it, ByuN played mech. He meched the hell out of ro8, and not like standard mech. He went for a timing attack. He went for a battle mech timing attack, and he was able to kill ro8 as ro8 was droning. ro8 was woefully underprepared for what ByuN brought to the table. And now we have our Terran versus Terran. Here we go. And when it comes to our TBT here, I want to say that Cure typically has the advantage. These two, they face off quite often. They face off very, very often. And I want to say that Cure has the edge, but they often do trade blows. And we'll see what kind of TBT we have as well. Like, these two players, they're not afraid to proxy. Not afraid to proxy ranks at the start of the game, to go into proxy 2x Reaper, to commit, to go hard. Oh boy. As these two, they face quite often in KSL. Like in KSL, in the online tournaments, we often do see Cure and ByuN. And here we go, we're jumping into game number 1 of our decider match. Oh boy. And spawning in the left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the right-hand corner, let's go! Going for the proxy, sending out the first SCV and sending out the second SCV as well. I mean, we spoke about this. I wouldn't be surprised if this is not even the first time we're going to see a proxy in this series. In the right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. For Shopify, it is ByuN. Let's go. So proxy 2x Reaper here out of ByuN. It's going to be here on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, Cure, we'll see if he does open up double gas. A lot of this comes down to the openers. There's kind of like almost a rock, paper, scissors in TVT in regards to your opener of choice. Does Cure go double gas? Does he go for a faster CC instead? That won't be a hard counter. He won't instantly lose or anything like that, but there we go. Double gas opener. Cure, he will have the tools to defend. Basically, if you see a double gas opener like this, it means that Cure is going for a faster factory. It's going for a factory before command center. And what a faster factory means, it means faster Hellion. And a faster Hellion will help so much against proxy Reaper. So again, Cure, he will have the tools to defend. But it still does depend on the early game micro, of course. Just because he has the tools, I want to emphasize that this isn't necessarily a hard counter. Cure, if he overextends with his first Reaper, if he is scouting, if he gets caught out, then if you lose the first Reaper immediately, that can just be game. That can be game then and there. So Cure has to be so careful. Does throw down a spotter depot here on the right-hand side. And the Reapers are amassing. Ooh, okay. Does open reactor first. Now, because of this, there's going to be a window in time where he is going to be lacking some Reapers, but he should be making 2 at a time. But ByuN's going to finish first. ByuN, I mean, right now, there's nothing. There are 0 units here because of the reactor first. Oh, boy. So ByuN is building up. But there we go. Now going into reactor Reaper. But again, there's a window in time where Cure has nothing. But he's on the way. Reapers are in production, and we'll see what ByuN can achieve. I mean, this is gonna be brutal though. Can he deny the factory? No shot. Oh my god, factory does finish. What SCV goes down? Gets 1 so far. Gets 1. Gets 2. Gets 3. Solid damage so far. Getting up to 4. Yeah, 4 SCV kills. The Reapers are so late. Is that just game? That may just be game here. As we have 3 Reapers for ByuN. Gonna be forced out. He gets 7 SCVs. That is brutal damage. Ay, ay, ay. And just like that, ByuN takes a lead. ByuN does take a 5-worker lead. CC's on the way. Then he rotates over. Will delay the command center. And this is just an amazing start. And again, Cure, he blindly did go reactor first. I mean, the Hellions have arrived, and the Hellions will help shut this down. Ooh, but they get targeted. Oh my god. ByuN with the target firing, he shuts down the Hellions, he shuts down the Reapers, and ByuN, he will once again overwhelm. And he's looking to end it. He's looking to end the game here and now. He will delay once again. GG gets called. That is game-ending damage, and ByuN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. You can see just how brutal that was when it comes to the timing. When it comes to that reactor, we saw that what did it take? What, like 7 seconds? 10 seconds, I want to say. But that window before there were any Reapers for Cure, because he went reactor first, he lost 7 SCVs. 7 SCV kills. That was insane damage at the start of the game. And from there, of course, we saw that ByuN could just maintain his Reaper count, maintain his momentum, and GG. GG, well played. Unfortunately, Cure blindly going for the reactor did basically kill him. And now we're getting into game number 2. Solid micro, yep. Likewise, he also, ByuN had solid micro when it came to focusing down those Hellions, right? He did target down the Hellions immediately. They were the first units to go down. Oh, son. Okay, we're good. a bit of an awkward split there, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Maganatha. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, leading the series 1-0 for Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is herO. And this time, no proxy. Curie doesn't move out, and ByuN doesn't move out either. Welcome to Maganatha, the largest map in the map pool. If you did attempt to go for a proxy this time, we do have a double Reaper cliff into the main, so it's that much more difficult to get into the main base, and that much more punishing to try to escape the main base as well. So this map does kind of deter proxy Reaper, just because of the double cliff. I feel like the double cliff is a little bit more rare nowadays. I could be mistaken, but this used to be a little more common. I mean, we even had a couple of maps. Was it Hardwire or Beckett Industries? But there was a red map like that where you could actually siege a tank on the cliff, which was disgusting. It was but that did happen a couple of times in the history of StarCraft, where the Reaper cliff was large enough for tanks, and you could like drop in and punish the third base. No. A tank doesn't fit here. It looks big, it looks wide, and it is, but a tank doesn't fit here, from my understanding. As we can see, ByuN, he's terrified. ByuN, he does scout. He scouts the third, the fourth, and the linear third base as well. ByuN, he searches for the proxy. Again, Curie's not afraid to... Ooh. Curie's not afraid to go for his own proxy. So, fun fact, Curie, he opens up 2 ranks Reaper. What is this? This is a hard counter to a proxy. If ByuN was going for proxy 2x Reaper, then defensive 2x Reaper does shut it down completely. So this is very safe play. Again, Cure, he was trying to counter ByuN, and Cure can be somewhat active with this, that's true, but ooh. Okay, 2x Reaper into the factory. Very late CC here out of Cure. Very aggressive. As Curie does move out. Back at home at ByuN going for an economic opener, Rax expand. And Cure will see if he can delay the CC. It's moving out. We'll see if Cure turns this into a one base all in. This could just be a one base all in here. Like, this is such a late expansion. Yeah, the first Reaper gets caught out. Massive catch. Where the Hellions goes for the add-on swap. Oh no, this is a repeat of game 1. This is a repeat. He goes for an add-on swap. There's no Hellion, there's nothing. There's nothing here. Oh god. SCV's gonna be going down, getting 4 SCV kills already. Takes down 4 SCVs, the Hellions will now arrive. And it is a one base all in. One base all in from Cure, no expansion. Oh, sorry, my apologies. CC on the low ground, very late CC. Cure, he needs more damage. He does need more. The CC is almost done for ByuN, but it is going to be delayed once again. Nice spread out of Cure. Does spread. He has a ways to catch up, but he has gotten a lot of damage. But now we have 4 Hellions, and ByuN holds. ByuN, he holds on. He's down in workers as he lost a lot of SCVs at the start of the game, but ByuN is holding on. Meanwhile, Curie's here to break this position, break the natural. Denies any kind of mining. So on the one hand, yes, Cure, he doesn't have a natural base himself, but he's making sure there's no mining whatsoever. Ensuring that the economies are still in favor of Cure, as Cure still has a worker lead. But he's taking a lot of hits, actually. 6 Hellions. As ByuN has got 8 Hellions on the way. Oh my god. Nice splash damage there by Cure. Very nice positioning with his Hellion. He does out-trade ByuN. So much better engage, much better control there by Cure. Likewise, ByuN trying to break out. Does move out with the Raven. Still, he just cannot mine from the natural. ByuN forces his way through once again. Better splash damage from a Cure. As Cure just keeps rallying, he might just break him. Yeah, Cyclone has arrived. 2 Hellions left. Down to 1. And, oh my god, barely breaks the lock on. But again, kyuRHY was so committed to this game. Takes on the final Hellion. Cycle force the auto turret. Auto turret across the map as well. But kyuRHY, he does have a lead here. Even though he was so delayed, he's now on 2 bases. He still maintains a higher worker count. He's muling up. And now we're getting to a longer game. So Biotank out of kyuRHY, likewise Biotank out of ByuN. He's getting there. Forced to make a safety cyclone. Just a very chaotic early game. And kyuRHY was worth it. It was worth it for kyuRHY. Now moving out with the drop. A vanilla marine drop, interesting. Does make his way across the map. Does make his way across. Heads into the main. Oh. Trying to force friendly fire. And he will not. Despite that, 5 more SCV kills. It is going to cost kyuRHY the entire drop, that is true, but 6 SCVs go down. kyuRHY just ensuring that he maintains the better economy. And the drop play continues. Like kyuRHY, he's been hyper aggressive today. Like in every series, every single series. Against Rogue, against herO, and here against ByuN as well. As the armies, they pass by each other. kyuRHY going for the double drop into the main. At the same time, ByuN pushing through the center. ByuN going for a second starport. That's going to be a 2-8 2-port all in. But there's nothing at home to defend. And we came with the production. Yeah, the production is being canned. kyuRHY's going for the kill. And ByuN is all in. But there are 2 bunkers. Boys are being pulled. Ravens go down to the Vikings. Boys, they help deal with those turrets. They go for the mass repair. The bunker doesn't go down. Yeah, the bunker is holding. Oh my god, just barely. Tanks, they break through. Massive tank shots. But again, kyuRHY, he just came to the main. He just came to the main base. kyuRHY, that's going to be a kill on the factory. And remember, ByuN, he was going double starport. He was going for the 2-port all in. And GG gets called. ByuN, he has nothing left back at home. kyuRHY, he will tie up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. kyuRHY taking a massive lead early on, crippling the economy. And likewise, ByuN, I mean, he just had to go for the all-in from that moment, from that point, and he just could not break through. kyuRHY was ready. 2 bunkers on low ground, tanks as well. GG. We're going to game 3. We're going to the ace match, the final game of the broadcast. And again, we haven't even hit 3 hours. Ay. I'm used to like a 4-hour cast, but we've had nothing but all-ins today. We had the one macro game, to be fair, between herO and ByuN on Tokamak. True. That was the one game. Where herO got up to 7 bases, if you recall. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match one way or another. The series ends here and now. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is kyuRHY. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Shopify. It is ByuN. We go. And this time, we're at home. This time we have our SCVs back at home, so no proxy. No proxies. Remember, last game, kyuRHY, he did try to hard counter ByuN proxy by going for a 2x Reaper opener, and he turned that into like a borderline 1-base all-in, going into double gas, going into a factory on 1 base, and he was able to overwhelm ByuN, able to out-control him early on. Again, very impressive movement with his Hellions, just getting the most amount of damage as he could. And Cure, he punished ByuN. Did punish him quite hard and forced him into a 2-base all-in. But we'll see how we open up this time. As we can see, 1 gas. Yo, do we have it? Do we have the aggression out of our system? Are we going for the CC? We are. So Rax Expand out of ByuN, Rax Expand out of Cure. After the chaotic series and chaotic broadcast that we've had so far, we're slowing things down here in the ace match. Slowing things down. As is that CC on the low grounds for both players, as we mentioned. Again, only single gas openers. So this is going to be the slowest start that we've had in this series so far. Calming down. Going to be making SCVs. Making our natural. We're going to play some StarCraft. Let's go. Of course, from here we can still be aggressive on 2 bases, but so far just Reaper into Marines. No aggression. He breaks in. Pokes in. He does get 1 SCV. Not bad. And should be able to escape. Does get away. Nice start here for Cure. Meanwhile, our players, they do deviate. So we do have some Marine Hellion production into a 1-1-1 from ByuN. Meanwhile, Cure instead goes for the add-on. Goes Reactor into Factory. With that, is going to have a more delayed starport. Still on the way, but later. It's going to be later instead. Meanwhile, Tech Lab here for ByuN. Now, does he go for an early tank into a tank drop, or does he go for an add-on swap into Raven or even Banshee play? Is viable. No add-on from Cure, so it goes into Hellion. There we go, now going for the Tech Lab. But ByuN is faster, and he does not go for the swap, he goes for the early Cyclone. So, Cyclone opener here out of ByuN. And we'll see if Cure does the same, we'll see if Cure goes for the tank. Ooh, Tech Lab on the starport, so again, heading into Tank Raven, I would imagine. Yep, there we go. Early tank production. So ByuN is being safer by opening up Cyclone, by opening up with the initial Marine production, setting up back at home. Here, we do see Cure just skipping Cyclones, going straight for tanks. Straight for tanks instead. This will benefit Cure coming into a longer game, as he will have a slight tank lead over his opponent. Meanwhile, ByuN, he's going for the drop. Again, he has to be active here to get something for his army. I should also emphasize he did go medevac first into a delayed Tech Lab. So Cure, he's going to have faster tanks, more tanks, and also faster Ravens as well. Like ByuN, he's quite committed with this early drop. It doesn't look like a lot, but he did sacrifice a lot for this. Medevac pokes in. Cure's keeping up. And coming out of the early game, coming into the mid game, I do favor Cure's position. Again, he just has more tanks, more Ravens. He has, of course, Interference Matrix. ByuN instead, faster third CC. Ooh, 1-1-1 into a third CC. This is quite greedy here from ByuN. It does mean that ByuN is going to have a weaker early to mid game here, but actually Cure keeping up. Also, fast third CC. Okay. So the bases are on par with each other. Both players are being greedy in a sense. They're both focusing their economy. That's maybe a better way of putting it. Which means neither player should be pushing. I say that Cure does break out, at least to maintain his bases. At the same time, ByuN dropping into the main. And Cure's committing. As he moves out, ByuN, he actually doesn't commit, he backs off. Now remember, Cure, he's up with Ravens, he's up in tanks, and he does have Interference Matrix. ByuN does not. ByuN, he's down in these aspects. So Cure could actually break the natural. He can go in, disable everything, and break that natural base. He's thinking about it. It does push forward. He knows he's up a tank. The boys are being pulled. Shows disables auto charge instead. Throws down 3. Auto charge are thrown down. Marines are coming from behind, and ByuN with the full surround. He will clean this up. He will shut this down. Cure here overextended. And now it's time to counterattack. Now, on the one hand, ByuN did lose 13 SCVs. He lost a lot of workers there, but he preserves the army. And at one point this game, Cure, he had a higher tank count, had a higher Raven count. Not anymore. Yeah, Cure, he has lost that advantage. He races back home. Cure, he's now down in tanks, down in Ravens, but he's up in SCVs. Was that worth it? I mean, it tells me that ByuN can counterattack. So temporarily, it's worth it here for Cure, but now ByuN has an army, and now he can move out, and he can try to contain Cure. Like, the goal would be for ByuN to expand and to keep Cure on 2 bases. To keep him on 2 bases. As ByuN moves out. And this move out from ByuN, it should not be to break. I mean, actually, I was going to say it shouldn't be to break the natural, but he could. There's no bunker. There's no bunker. There's only 2 tanks. There's not many Marines here. ByuN now he has to disable himself. He scans. He sees. Yeah, he wants it. He's going for it. Does second guess himself. Vikings, they have arrived. They zone away. And ByuN backs off. Okay, ByuN does back off. ByuN landing his own 3rd. He does split the 3rd base of Cure. Both players are expanding. ByuN, he rotates. And again, ByuN, his goal here should be to delay this 3rd for as long as he can. Cure does actually have a higher Viking count. Likewise, Liberators, they arrive across the map. Oh my god, 2 libs here in the main in the natural. SCV's gonna be falling. ByuN out of position. Where's his anti-air? He barely has any Vikings. Barely any Vikings. This is getting brutal here. 10 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Takes down 10 SCVs. Liberators, they still deny any kind of mining. Cure. I mean, he already had the worker advantage coming into the mid game, but he extends it even further. There's so much pressure on ByuN. ByuN needs to achieve something here. Does move in. Nice disables. But Vikings push forward. And Cure, he can just land. Yeah, he just land. He will clean this up. But ByuN, he will lose everything. The tanks will go down. And ByuN, he fails to contain. Cure, he's fully saturated on 3 bases, and here comes the counterattack. And ByuN, he's in danger. He's in trouble here. Back at home, he's got 2 Vikings, got a handful of Marines. He has 1 tank. Oh no, he gets baited in. Does get baited. Tank volley's going off. Cure pushing forward. Cure has a massive lead. Cure, he's hunting for that Raven. He wants it. And mining is denied. And ByuN is contained on 2 bases. Ay, ay, ay. Cure wants the tank. Oh, Sims in. And barely will break through. No, he will not. Ah, no, yeah, we got plenty of tanks. Vikings, they land, they buffer, they support. ByuN getting chased down. And Cure, he has too much. At this point, Cure, he has far too much. Does go for the siege. And GG gets called. ByuN, he runs out of steam. He gets overwhelmed. And Cure, he will advance on into the semifinals. And ByuN is out of GSL. GG. GG, well played, Cure. I mean, he typically does have the advantage when it comes to TVT against ByuN, but this is a very chaotic TVT. Very chaotic. Even here in the ace match, we did mention that this was the first time that both players did open up economically, and they even both went for faster 3rd bases, but despite that, they were still very aggressive. Like, Cure, he, I would say, overextended. Remember, he killed, what was it, 11 or 13 SCVs, but he lost the entire army. That was a shaky moment for Cure, but he did have a massive worker advantage, and ByuN wasn't able to leverage his army. He tried to, he moved out, but he wasn't able to break the natural. He wasn't able to contain Cure either. Cure he was able to overwhelm, went into Mass Viking, and Cure he broke out. He broke out, and with that, ByuN was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. Likewise, just really fast games as well, coming into game 2, game 1, game 2, and even game 3 as well. Our longest game was, I guess, herO versus ByuN on Tokamak, I suppose. But even then, it was a little bit different, just because basically on that game, ByuN took a lot of damage early on, so he was contained, and he was just stuck on 3 bases. He was just stuck on 3 bases, and herO just mass expanded, and everyone from there. So it was a little bit more one-sided, but regardless, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to our 2 advancing players as we switch our teams over and catch up on the bracket itself. Oh my god. Coming into this, I'll be honest, I was leaning, you know what? I was maybe having too much faith in Rogue's interview. I was like, yo, if he feels confident against these Terran boys, like, okay, I can get behind him. But if you remember, like, where Rogue thrives against Terran, and we've seen Rogue even take down Clem recently, and it's all off of the late game. If Rogue can get into the late game, then Rogue, he can thrive, he can overwhelm, he can look terrifying, but we saw that Rogue never got there. You could argue this is maybe one of the downsides of this new map pool, is that there are no more turtle maps. Like, there are no more like hybrid offensive maps, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. But all the maps, they are a little bit more accessible than the previous map pool, so you can be more active and more aggressive. And we saw both ByuN and Cure, again, just all in the hell out of Rogue. Just all in the hell out of him. They broke him down, and Rogue, he never got into the mid game. He never got into a more stable economy, and he never got to embrace his lurkers. He never got there. So Rogue, he got taken out real fast and real quick, and herO was able to excel against both Cure and ByuN. I will say that I do recommend checking out the VODs. Cure and ByuN, they had very different approaches. Cure was hyper aggressive against herO. It was hyper aggressive. We had non-stop 2-base play out of Cure. ByuN took a different approach, took a slower approach instead, having more standard economic games against herO, and we got to see the full breadth of herO's PvT in today's broadcast against more aggressive Terrans and more defensive or more economic Terrans. And with that, GG, well played. herO and Cure will make it through into the next round. And up next, when I say up next, I mean tomorrow we should be able to cover Group B. Let me just quickly double check our calendar here. So we just wrapped up with Group A, and yes, Group B is actually going to be in 2 days' time. So tomorrow we're going to be casting the Pigasaur Tuesday on Wednesday. But actually, you know what? I got you. As we are catching up on GSL, and bam, here we go. We have our weekly schedule. You can see it's full of GSL. We just had our first broadcast Tuesday morning, and again, the Pigasaur Tuesday is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be in less than 24 hours. So we're going to be covering that Open Cup in the morning. Then we have the Pondcast. The Pondcast is going to be Wednesday evening. We're going to be going over all the news of the week and everything leading up to DreamHack Dallas. Likewise, we do have GSL for the rest of the week. We have GSL Thursday morning, Thursday evening. We should be completely wrapping up GSL Season 1 on Thursday. Thursday morning is going to be Group B, and Thursday evening is going to be the semifinals and the grand final. So we're going to wrap it up all on Thursday. On Friday, maybe curious, why is there more GSL on Friday and Saturday? That is the qualifiers. GSL Season 2 qualifiers were 2 days ago. 2 days ago were the GSL qualifiers for Season 2. No one got invited, no one got seeded in. Everyone had to play through the qualifiers, and we'll be going over those qualifying matches on Friday and Saturday. It's a lot of matches. It's a lot. I think it's 16. Is it like 16 best of threes? Something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot of best of threes to go over. So we're going to be splitting it up into 3 broadcasts, and there's also DreamHack Dallas over the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or if depending on where you are in the world, it should be Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the Americas. For here, it's going to be the other 3 days. But 3 days of DreamHack Dallas. I have confirmation we are going to be casting. We're going to be casting DreamHack Dallas. We're going to be covering the initial early rounds, and we're going to be co-streaming as well. So we're going to be co-streaming, and we're going to be casting. So it's going to be a very, very busy weekend here on the CranKy Ducklings. It's going to be like 12-hour casts every day. Going to be intense. We probably won't co-stream day 1 because day 1 we're going to be fully fixated on the open stage and the open bracket, group stage 1. So we're going to be all over that on day 1, and then probably like day 2 and day 3 is going to be when we're going to be co-streaming. That'll be the plan. That will be the plan. But yeah, a lot of content over the weekend. It's going to be very intense. Very intense. Nico. Just catching up. Shorter is good than after the marathon yesterday. True, true. We had a 10-hour cast back. 10 hours. It was crazy. It was crazy. What's that thing on the ground at the bottom of the ramp going into the natural? Oh. On Ultra Love. If it was on the bottom of the ramp coming into the natural, it would just be just as we'll say in the chat, just like kind of aesthetics, map aesthetics, not anything like too impactful. There's no like plate, or there's no speed or slow zone or anything like that. Should just be aesthetic. Whew. But yeah, it's gonna be an intense week here on the CranKy Ducklings as always. As you can see, Tuesday afternoon we do have free. I think our plan is to play some Final Fantasy this evening. Likewise, we have some free time. We did end the stream early today. Jesus, again, only 3-hour cast. You know what time it is. It's time to ladder, Pappy. It's time to let's go. It is gonna be time. I haven't laddered in like 2 weeks time. I've just been so busy casting and so busy focusing here on the CranKy Ducklings that I just haven't been able to stream on my personal channel. But that is the plan for today. Is for a couple of hours at least. We'll be having a ladder session. I'm very rusty again because I haven't laddered in quite a number of weeks. Basically ever since the Zombie Grub show match. I just haven't had time. Let's double check. It's been 11 days. 11 days since our last stream, so I'm very rusty, very out of practice. So don't expect expect a wall of red. Expect a wall of red today, but we'll do our best to recover, to bounce back, and to get back into the swing of things, get back into laddering. I think today is the only day that I have to ladder. As you can see, our schedule is jam-packed full of GSL, so I won't be able to stream again this week, but next week I should be a little bit more free to have some ladder sessions, to stream, and to have some fun. Actually, I might stream tomorrow as well. Today and tomorrow. 2 days of streaming. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. Again, our next broadcast is going to be in less than 24 hours. It's going to be the Biggest Or Tuesday on Wednesday. And again, we still have more GSL throughout the entire week, and we have DreamHack Dallas over the weekend as well. Again, we're going to be all over that as well here on the CranKy Ducklings. So see you soon. See you then. Otherwise, I'm going to be streaming on my own personal channel, but if you want to help support the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via following !socials in the chat. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have all things CranKy Ducklings. We are all over the place, so you can follow us there. Likewise, we do upload on YouTube on a daily basis, so plenty of content on YouTube. You can follow us there as well. Otherwise, thank you for watching, thank you for the support, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft action. See you then. Till then, ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time.